As well as headings, we need paragraphs of text within our page. These are described with a P element. The P element is used for blocks of text, or sentences, or in some cases just one word. Content can't stand alone in an HTML document. It has to have an element wrap it. So any text you have is usually wrapped with a P tag. There are also a number of elements to describe text. Let's have a look at some of the common ones. If text has importance, it is wrapped with a strong element. Notice how it's inside the paragraph element. There's a couple of these text elements that usually sit within paragraphs like this, because they're just describing the words that are inside the paragraph. Notice here how the browser styles the strong text to be bold. This is the default styling by the browser. But the element itself, this strong element, is not for styling. It is for describing the content as important. If you just want bold styling, there is a content element for that. It's the B tag, which stands for bold. Again, this is one which sits within the paragraph. And as you can see on the right, the text is style bold, just like the important tag. We can change this later with CSS. So just make sure you're using the right element in the right time. This pattern is the same for italic or slanted text. To emphasize a word in a paragraph, we use the EM element. But if we just want italic styled text, we have an I element for that. Sometimes we may need to target text to change the style of it in any way we choose, without any suggested defaults or suggested content. There's an element for that. It's called a span. It doesn't suggest any content to the document, nor cause the browser to add any styling. If I add my span element in here, again, it's an element that we put inside a paragraph. On the right, you can see that there is no change to that paragraph styling. Another element to note is the time element. This is used if you want to denote a specific period of time, like a duration or date. The time element takes an optional but specific attribute, the date time attribute. The value is also very specific. It depicts the time within the element as a machine-readable string of characters in a format so the program can read the time as well. So for our example here, we would have the month and the date separated by a hyphen. That way, the program reading the document also knows that inside the time element is the 25th of December. There's lots of different formats for time. We could also have something like 10 o'clock. The date time attribute here is different because we're depicting a time, not a date. So we would write 10 o'clock in 24-hour clock time. There's a whole list of all the different formats that you can use in the resources for this course. There are more text elements than we've looked at here. Let's have a look at lists in the next video.